Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Bastion Accord deck profile for October 2023. This is the new support that we got from the Evenfall Onslaught booster set to make a completely new Bastion deck that focuses on Sword of the Nation, Bastion Accord, a new grade 3 that is still regarded as Apex Ruler Bastion, just with the additional restand power that this card can provide, and not having to fully focus on a completely grade 3 heavy deck anymore with some of the other newer cards that we have. Big thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his deck for the video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck, with the ride deck still consisting of a good majority of the same cards since it counts as Apex Ruler Bastion. So the Knight of Heaven Bow base for our starter, the grade 1 is Knight of Heavenly Sword Fort, and the grade 2 is Knight of Heavenly Spear Rooks, with our grade 3 being the new Sword of the Nation Bastion Accord. You have all the search power by revealing grade 3s in our hands for the ride deck cards, being able to call a card and then also draw a card depending on which one you ride on top of, and then having the Bastion Accord as our go-to grade 3 for the ride deck. Now, the Apex Bastion or Bastion Prime, the grade 4 Bastion, will be the next spot. Just didn't have them for the deck because you do want to run different versions of Bastion. So just for a placeholder, 4 copies of Form Up O Chosen Knights. This is just the spot where you, if you have Bastion Prime, you'll replace it with this card in the deck to have those additional numbers. So we have the 4 copies of this card that just gives you more of a draw option with this normal order, depending on all the number of grade 3 units that you have. So with that, you would otherwise play Apex Bastion Prime, the grade 4. So you have another Bastion card to discard off of our main go-to grade 3, which is Sword of the Nation Bastion Accord. Is regarded as Apex Ruler Bastion, and on the Vanguard Circle, all your grade 3 or greater front row rear guards cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects, and they get plus 5,000 power. And on the Vanguard Circle, at the end of battle of this unit attack, choose one of your grade 3 or less rear guards, stand it. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets the rear guard ability of once per turn. When this unit attacks, +1, discard a card with Bastion and discarding from your hand. Until the end of that battle, this unit performs a drive check until end of turn, giving you a little more pressure with your rear guard attacks thanks to Bastion Accord. You do have to discard a Bastion card, don't forget. That's why, once again, if you have Bastion Primes, you can put them in for the Form Up O Chosen Knights. It is a pretty expensive grade 4 at the moment, so once again, it could just be another card to replace until you have it. But we are also running 4 additional copies of the Apex Ruler Bastion for the card being regarded as Bastion still for its card name, for its card ability. So this card just can be another of the discarded card cost for your Bastion Vanguard. And for the other grade 3s, we're also still running 4 copies of Grand Heavenly Sword, Alden. When it's placed on rear guard, counterblast 2, soul blast 1, choose a grade card from your hand, call to rear guard. If you call to grade 3, you draw 2 cards, and on rear guard, when this unit attacks, if you have 3 or more grade 3 units, it gets plus 5,000. So just an additional great setup resource for the rear guards as well, just being able to utilize draw power and boosted power thanks to Alden, and then a good rear guard attack to potentially have the drive track power too also. With our new grade 3 being 4 copies of Grander Edge Dragon. With this card, when from the hand, when a grade 3 card would be revealed from your hand for the cost of your card's ability, this card may be revealed as 2 cards, so great for the ride deck option. And if you have a Vanguard with Bastion in its card name, this unit gets plus 10,000 power and shield plus 10,000 as well, making it so the fact that it also gains from the guard circle. So if you were to place Grander Edge Dragon as a guard from your hand, it makes up for a 10k shield guard that you can provide with this card also. And then also the 3 copies of Brave on Sky Trimmer Rondalia. For more boost options, if you have a Vanguard with Bastion in its card name, you put this unit in the soul. Choose one of your Vanguards and it gets continuous Vanguard. All of your grade 3 rear guards get boost until end of turn. And from the soul, put this card into the drop. Choose one of your grade 3 rear guards and it gets boost until end of turn. So having more boost options for both of the card abilities that this card can provide. For the grade 1s, I'm running 3 copies of the new yellow Jeweled Beast toolpaths. When this unit is placed on rear or put on the guard circle, you put a total of 2 cards from the soul or drop that were in the ride deck into the ride deck face up, and then either perform the following 2. You can look at the top 5 cards in your deck and choose up to 1 unit card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them, and call it to rear guard and shuffle your deck. If it is not your main phase, rest that call card. And on the guard circle, this unit gets plus 15 shield. Having the shield power very similar to all the other Jeweled Beasts, but also having an option to just call an additional card onto the field can give you something pretty important for you to use on your rear guard that this card can easily set up. Just being able to choose with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard makes it all the better also, since we're always going to be on a grade 3 Vanguard. And then also 4 copies of Aegis Mare Dragon, just the Sentinel choice, with the next one being our Regalis piece of choice. If you wanted to have the Gradius Gradel, it could be the next one afterwards, but you could always replace 1 copy of the Aegis Mare Dragon for a copy of Elementaria Sanctitude as well, but it's more player preference with that point also. And then for the Regalis piece, the 1 copy of Evergreen Transfer. You play it with a Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units, it gets plus 25 shield until end of battle, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets Vanguard Continuous. All of your 100 million or greater units get critical -1 for your opponent's, for one of your Vanguards, and it gets the ability of that option. So just for the added power for the -critical when going up against more of a defensive play of your opponent. That's why this card helps just with all the grade 3s are running. Yeah, we do have the new Grander Edge as an additional shield option, but we are still running a good amount of grade 3s that don't really provide much when it comes to the shield power, relying on our Sentinels and our trigger lineup for the good majority of it. With our trigger lineup being 8 criticals, so 4 copies of Blade Feather Dragon and the 4 copies of Knight of Overly Bow Lavark for the extra pressure with your Vanguard, and for the fact that your rear guards also have a drive check power to rely on thanks to these cards. And then for the next trigger, 3 copies of Bart of Heavenly Song Alpac for the front trigger boost, and just an additional guard option having a 5k shield to go up against your opponent as well, with the last being the 4 heal trigger, the Knight of Clarion Strings Rakula. If you wanted to run any of the ability triggers, you can always just replace one of the spots or more with any of those, but still I've been going more and more for the 15k shield spots for these decks also. And then lastly, for the over trigger, we're actually testing out the Spiritual King of Aquatics, Idosvaro, for the additional effect of being able to choose a card from your drop zone, putting it into the hand, and choose one of your units, and it gets critical +1. So if you reveal this card off of the Vanguard, you can then have the additional critical given to your rear guard that could potentially perform the drive check as an added pressured attack against your opponent, having the critical +1 and the drive check power and the 100 million that this card also provides thanks to it. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. Once again, big thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Bastion Accord deck for the video. And once again, if you wanted to run the Bastion Primes, you'll just replace the order spot in the deck with the additional copies that we were running, taking out the 4 orders for the Form Up Ode Chosen Knights for the Bastion Prime spot to have more targets for Bastion to use. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.